It's Alysia, Nora, and Macy on our little green couch.
Ready to talk weekly gossip from behind the chair.
Have a drink or 10 and get ready for the journey.
Join us on the floor with little Fern.
Hello, welcome.
We're on.
Welcome to On the Floor with Little Fern. Guys, I have a new mic.
Macy has a new mic.
Let's set the scene for you guys. Right now, we are basically, what is the dinner called that Jesus had with his apostolites or whatever they're called?
The Last Supper.
Exactly. Thank you, my Catholic women.
We're Christian women.
Well, I'm technically Catholic, but that's neither here nor there.
The argument is actually that they're all Christians.
Yeah, and then you really should have known about the Last Supper.
Yeah, I should have, but I didn't pay attention. I almost failed my test to get my confirmation. And I was confirmed. Who would have thunk, y'all?
PCD.
We are all drinking some rosé and it's delicious. So crisp.
Well, welcome in. Take a load off, grab a cocktail or a bubbly or a tea or a coffee. By the way, I got influenced. We're just going to dive right in. And I got the Wandering Bear coffee. It just kept coming for me hot on my Instagram and my Facebook. And I got the cold brew dark black, and then I also got their toasted coconut flavor that was new. And I'm gonna tell you, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some, and this was a big win.
She made a coffee today with not only this amazing, shall we mention, it is boxed coffee, y'all. It is boxed. Literally, it is boxed wine, but instead of it being wine in its contents, it is coffee. And she made herself a coffee today and also had this lovely oat milk creamer in it. It was super good.
I was making a coffee for my client, and I also needed a coffee for myself. And I said, perfect timing. I'm going to make both me and my client beveraginos at the same time. Wonderful. So I also brought in an oat milk creamer. It was sweet creamer, and it was to die for. So I made the black coffee with that creamer on ice, because we have the little baby ice cubes that are phenomenal. And it was so delicious.
It was one of the best cups of coffee that I have had in a really, really long time.
I'm really glad that everybody shared their iced coffee with me today.
I believe you were doing a service at that moment, so I apologize that you did not feel included, but I think we will make you one tomorrow because it was so lovely that you deserve a taste of it as well.
I will 100% make you a coffee tomorrow.
I can make my own fucking coffee.
The disrespect.
I'm feeling some hostility.
Well, you guys are really amping up coffee in front of another coffee lover, and I didn't get to share. Also, I will note that Carol seemed slightly offended that you did make your coffee while making her special coffee, because she really likes the fact that she gets it made specially for herself. And when you said that you and Macy tried it and shared it together, she was like, oh.
This woman.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I made it very clear that I also needed a coffee at the same time, accidentally, that she needed a coffee. So why can't we all partake in coffee together? Whatever, she's fine. And you know what? She loved her coffee. So in the end, we're all happy.
Alysia shared with me. It was amazing. It was one of those sort of sips where I wish I could have stolen it from Alysia and drank it myself, but I didn't. I could have easily made myself one, guys, but I've been a little anxious recently and also had the poops yesterday. Bad.
Macy we need to, first of all, this is way TMI, but we're going to go there.
Oh.
She had emergency 911. I felt bad for her. However, somehow we were on the same stomach situation, because I also had an earlier in the day, I was talking to my dogs and I was like, I don't think we're going to make it home from this walk. So.
And here they are together, carb loading on some fresh bread.
It's sourdough.
And oily butter.
First of all, don't come for my butter. Second of all, this sourdough is phenomenal.
Today, typical, I was sent to go complete some errands for the salon. You know, it's just typical how it works here. And I picked up these 2 really giant loaves of sourdough bread. And I don't know if you guys have been on that side of TikTok where it's like the sourdough starters, people doing it. I mean, it's not like an easy thing. This is not an easy hobby to have. And so this woman in our area, Alysia, goes and she buys 2 loaves and some chocolate chip cookies. Oh my God. Best bread that I've ever had, literally ever had. And I'm not being dramatic. And then the cookies were still warm. So she put them on like a fresh little platter. 'Cause she was like, I normally put them in this packaging, but they were like not cooling and they were still really warm when they got here. So 10 out of 10, love that for us and that you did this for us.
All of the packaging is very impressive. Like, I loved her bread packaging as well. Like, that was spot on.
It was great. It is delicious. I am very excited to cut up my regular sourdough. I have if I do have breakfast in the morning, I tend to have an avocado toast. And I'm very excited. Well, one, I could do it on the cheddar. First of all, we need to talk about the flavor. We have cheddar dill right now. Phenomenal. But at home I have just regular, like a loaf of regular bread, like your sandwich style bread. And I'm also excited to bust into that bitch. All 10 out of 10 across the board right now. It's very good. And I also had a cookie and I shared it with my last client of the day. And it was the size of my hand, like my palm. And it was like crumbling in the middle because it was so gooey. And that's my kind of cookie. That's not everyone's kind of cookie. Some people like a harder cookie.
Might I interrupt? It is time to celebrate. On the Floor with a Little Fern has over 500 podcast downloads. I just got the email, y'all.
That's so exciting.
So we have how many episodes out? 12, 13? And we have 500 downloads. That's pretty slay. But I think that's really awesome. And I think we should cheers to that.
Cheers.
Very proud of us. And before you know it, we're going to be getting a nice little switchboard. I'm going to be recording on these phones, you know? It's been a pain in the fucking ass.
Bear with us. It's a ride and you guys are along for the adventure. And I think that's half of like the fun of being in the Fern family. And you get to see where we started, where we've come from, and where we're going. So buckle up.
I'm thoroughly struggling with my mute button today. We have a whole different setup as Macy described for our last supper.
I don't think we went into enough detail with this.
No, like we actually brought a table into the middle of the salon and stools and chairs and snacks, and we have our mics on our stands, and I can't see my mute button.
Well, you know, you could flip this around.
No, I just like it when it's normal way. I was struggling. So I'm prepared now.
It's okay. You know, we're all experiencing some changes just the same way that spring brings new growth and new changes. Recently, we're going through a lot of changes with how the podcast is working. Like, we had a really good run with I would say 9, 10 episodes where nothing was wrong. We had solid recording. And then ever since, it's been whether it's a lot of connection issues with the actual input from your microphone into the phone. And so that's why I'm on a new mic today and I'm recording through a laptop at the moment, and they are still connected to their old mics and their iPhones.
Old trusty over here. But, she's cute. We love her. You got to start somewhere. It's baby steps. You only know what you know, and you're learning and you're ever evolving, and that is what we are doing. So you bear with us, and we're appreciative. However, I want to talk really quickly about how our industry has been ever evolving and changing. We went from bigger salons where we had a front desk and somebody booking and a booking system and somebody who, the old school, you picked up the phone and you called and you booked your appointment, or you booked your appointment on your way out with a front desk receptionist. And now we don't do that with our salon. Our salon is very do it yourself, as you would like to say.
But I feel like a lot of places are like this nowadays where it's really all virtual and online. I mean, you have these apps and like Safer Square, for example, or I think Daniel has his, how do you pronounce it? Is it Vigaro? These are all applications that make it a lot easier where you don't need somebody at the front desk, but also there are pros and cons to having that front desk person that can answer your every living question versus the online one, which makes everything more streamlined and fast, but also I think can leave some room for errors.
It's hard to explain to people too. Like it took us probably a solid 2.5 years to like come up with a narrative to share with people on like the way we do things here, because I think it took us that long to be comfortable saying like this is how we do it. If you don't like it, either learn how to do it or like this is just not for you, because this is how we need to do it to make ourselves be more productive.
100%. We had to learn to streamline, and that was what was efficient for us at the time. We didn't have an assistant. When we first started out, we were trying to figure out what we were adapting, what worked for us, what worked for our space. We were in an even smaller space when we first started out.
We were fighting for our
We were
lives.
in the trenches, the fucking trenches. And we were just trying to figure out how to stay afloat. So for us, we couldn't even fathom a front desk. We didn't even have a shampoo girl. And so, as we have evolved, so has our online booking, so has our front desk, so has like things like that. However, we are in a new age, a new society, and a new way of doing things where that's just kind of, I don't want to say the norm, but it is for us. And it's like what works for us is that we each have our own booking links, and you go to said booking link through many different ways. It's not just like you have to have Instagram or you have to have Facebook or you have to have, we have lovely Macy has created a link tree, and you can get to us from many different ways.
You can even like be outside of the salon and see our QR code on our window and even just scan that with your phone and it'll take you right to our link in your web browser, which is just so lovely.
It's amazing. We've kind of streamlined it pretty well. I will say that there's still troubleshooting that happens, and I say this because I just signed up for my first Pilates class at a studio, and it's clearly a small studio, so I think. I haven't gone to it, but a bunch of clients go to it and they rave. And I wanted to try something new in my year of health and doing more things. I said, I've never done the reformer Pilates style Pilates class. I've done regular floor Pilates and things like that. I want to try this out. So they kept talking about this class and kept talking about this class. And finally, I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm signing up. So I do what everyone now does, and I go to their Instagram, and it sends me to exactly how our setup is. And it's a link tree. And the link tree then sends me to 5 options. And the 5 options are, I don't even know, studio, live classes,
Schedule,
menu, website.
their app.
The last thing on there says download the app to book appointments.
But the thing is, which I'm sure Alysia will touch on just briefly, when you hit that link, it's really quite confusing because it doesn't actually take you to the application. It takes you to this like random fucking website. So I will give you this, it's very confusing.
So I would just like to inform you that I also got all of my friends here at this table to also sign up for this.
Yeah, Alysia talked to me about it for maybe 2 seconds and I said, bet, I'm in. Purchase.
I did it, and I clearly went about this in such an ass backwards way where I tried to sign up for said class first before realizing I needed to make an account first and sign and download the Mind and Body app, which by the way, I already have because I used to be an Orange Theory girl, which I also loved, and they were also a Mind and Body app. So I did it the most complicated way ever. And mind you, while I'm doing this, I was trying to waitlist. I was trying to sign up. I was trying to pay. I did all of these things. It didn't even give me a password. It said, welcome to Move Pilates. I didn't even know if I had a class like time. I didn't even know what was happening. I was explaining this to Macy and not complaining, but I said, am I the problem?
No, she literally said to me, she was like, Macy, like, you know, like how we have talked about this in like many episodes where we're like people need to get on board. We literally just reiterated this not 2 minutes ago, like for real. And she was like, are we like the problem? Like, is it because like we have all these like applications, like a link tree and all these modes to like streamline and to make it better, quote unquote. Does it actually though? And so that's when I tested it myself. And it's really interesting the way that you described it because you're like, this just doesn't make any fucking sense. I just don't know what's going on. And I was like, okay, like I'm interested in doing it anyways. I was like, let me just try to figure it out on my own without you helping me. So she gave me their Instagram link and they had the link tree in their bio, just like we do. And I tapped on the link tree. And to be fair, the thing that I will give us is I think our link tree is very straightforward. We have our booking link, we have our podcast, our TikTok, our Instagram, and maybe like our Facebook. I don't know, like all of our socials, but those are all separate entities. Those are all things that aren't, like combined, like you need to go on this one to go on the other one. And so I was like, okay, this is interesting. All the options are weird. But like in my brain, my immediate one was like, let's go on their website. So like I hit on their website and then, they have their like little 3 dashes where you hit it and then it's the drop down menu where like you pick where you go. And I was like, okay, like scheduling and all this. And it took me to part of their site, which gave me a literal step by step, which is why I was like, Alysia, what the fuck are you talking about? It was like step 1, use your username and password below. You put that in. Step 2, then it'll immediately send you to our app and then all this stuff and you sign up there. And then literally the very last step was signing up for a class and paying. So Alysia and her brain, she said that I am down. Let's pay for it right now instead of signing up for it.
I said, where do I put my credit card in? Sign me up. Just want to repeat, this is zero shade to this studio. I am very excited for my class. I just wanted to reiterate that I think it's hilarious that we state time and time again, go online and book. It's super easy. Go online and book. It's super easy. And then here I am going online to book at a different spot. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
The thing is, I don't think it's like criticism. I think it's more just like because it's like a business that uses similar forums. I think that you're kind of trying to compare and be like, and I think you're trying to also put yourself in the shoes of the consumer, of the client, of the person who is going to you, who doesn't know it like at the back of their hand, who isn't like, oh, this is so easy. This is like, see, this is a completely new like forum for me. And I think that's very fair for you and kind of humble for you to consider and be like, are we the problem? Like, is it really that easy?
First of all, I've never even looked at our link tree. I trust Macy wholeheartedly, and I just said she's got this and everybody can figure it out. And I've never once checked it out at all. And then Macy, I think it's hilarious that you remember step by step exactly what you did to sign up for this class, because then I came out of the bathroom and I said, Pilates. I have what I call fast fingers, and I just beep bop me bopped my way through it, and very quickly.
Nora just did what Nora does, and she fumbled through, and then she still somehow got the better result than me.
I clicked on a couple things and I said, oh, that's the wrong thing. So I really quickly went backwards out of it. And then I clicked another thing and I was like, oh, wrong thing. And I clicked back out of it. And then I clicked back into another. And then I found my way through and I Facebook sign in, Apple Pay, done.
My theory is that Alysia was just so excited for this course. And like she thought like in her brain, like I have done so much like research and like with like with looking at the videos and what goes on. Like I didn't look at anything. I was just like Pilates slay. Like it looks like it has good reviews. Let's do it.
It's like when you guys talked about the median and you said, but this is the exact opposite of what Alysia usually does. And she overdoes it. This time I overdid it. I didn't just work my way through it like a normal person. I overcomplicated it. And I went on this website, by the way, guys, like 6 times before I actually pulled the trigger. So in true me fashion, I am my client. So maybe I'm the problem.
I think it's a combination because also like in no aspect do I think that you are the first person to have an issue like this, because it really does give you the option to like pay for it. I mean, the thing is, if it had worked the right way, their website should never be structured in the way that like you can pay before you have an account. Like, I feel like that at least that's the way how it should be, because then at the end, then you're like, I'm trying to join, but I have no account now to join with. And what the fuck is going on? Because I paid already. Like, why do I need an account?
I didn't have that experience because I just signed in through Facebook.
Oh, Nora did like the third option. You did a Facebook account login.
I like to do the like quickest thing where I don't have to type stuff in. And so it said sign in through Facebook.
Honestly, I think that that's the greatest part about this is we all had 3 different experiences on the login.
Stay tuned.
100%.
Stay tuned for our 3 different experiences that we'll have while we're doing the Pilates class.
Oh, I cannot wait, guys. It's the reformers. So I think I kind of wish we could bring a video crew into this so we could video us trying reformers Pilates for the first time.
I've never done it before. I love Pilates. I've done Pilates, never a reformer.
Done Pilates like on YouTube and everything, and I think it's really great with body weight, but I already know that like you get 100% different results when you're using this equipment because it's also like you're able to like move your body and like slide and glide in ways that like you're really not able to do like at home, or even like say that it's like a Pilates studio but they don't even have these reformers.
I can't wait. Tune in. We're going to talk about it. I'm just saying, I'm so glad that I conned my friends into going to this class with me and then also their experience on how to sign up online. And I don't want any feedback on how our sign up is for any sort of anything hair related. Don't give it to me. I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not trying to hear how many things you had to press. I'm not trying to hear how many times it took you. Blessings to the girl sitting next to me who runs our link tree and does it well. No shade to this studio. I just thought it hilarious, the difference in me trying to do it versus somebody else trying to do it versus a third party trying to do it. And I'm just going to say I'm the problem. And in the end, I have a class. I am signed up. I am very excited. And no, I will not be bringing these problems to the studio. I am going to walk in and go, this is beautiful. So excited to be here.
I mean, the pictures of this place are like very, very pretty. It's going to be very aesthetically pleasing, and I have no doubt that I'm going to love it.
Speaking of aesthetics, there's a very solid difference of aesthetics between our salon and the barbershop next door. Like a hard amount of aesthetic difference.
Let's give them the credit though. They have changed slightly, but it's still a big aesthetic difference.
Because I feel like since we've been here, she's been feeling like I want to be myself. So with that being said, from day one, we've had people walk. Yesterday, a woman walked in the door in she looked like she was wearing like a Greek, like a sheet, like she was going to a toga. And she said, "Hi." And I was like, "Hi." She said, "Is this Cutters for Men?" And I said, "No, that's next door." And she said, "Oh, well, I just chose a door and walked in." Is it the same door?
If not weekly, it happens almost like every other day.
Which we've talked about before. But it just continues being a thing, even though we put signs up. And I actually made like almost like a barrier where people have to knock their knee on it to go between the 2 doors.
We have like a flower bed and it's like a raised flower bed and it's pretty sturdy. And now it's like we're such an old school building that it's one of those like we share an awning and a walkway. And so honestly, it's 2 doors and they're right next to each other. They're sisters. And so we have like a big carpet that's outside that we have like made it like prettier. We're jazzing things up. And we did, however, change our little flower bed to kind of make a walkway, shall we say, between the 2. So you can very well notice that it is 1 door for one and 1 door for the other. But I want to paint you a picture of what happened to us this week. Me and Macy we're at the end of our day. We have a break.
And like we have said, we have big windows. I mean, we cannot, I feel like you guys are probably sick of hearing us say this, but we also have an entrance which comes in with our couch and then next to our probably, would you guys say like 6-foot couch? And once you get the distance of the 6-foot couch, there is a product shelf, but the product shelf is completely see-through. There's products on it, but it's completely like you can see both sides of it. Like we stand on the other side and you can see our face unless the product is like covering our face. So we are filming our video. It's a Friday. Let's preface this. On Fridays, me and Alysia usually start early. We end around 2, 3-ish, depending on the day. And then we do content afterwards. So we were doing our dance video. We always do dances on Fridays. It's our fun little thing to do. And we do it at a specific area in our salon.
And the funny thing about the dance is we can see the people walking past the salon and they can very well see us while we are doing our dance. But it's like our view. And it's funny sometimes we've gotten caught many a times. It doesn't really bother us. But this day in particular, the weather was really nice, so the door was open and it was warm, it was nice.
It was so weird. It was so weird. We're literally filming. Like I think we're probably on, at this point, we were doing our own take of the dance. And so we're on probably like take two, let's say, because it always takes us a couple times to get the dance down and like actually get it out. And we're filming. And like, like when you see somebody looking at you, like at the corner of your eye, or even like just a little above eye level.
Oh no, this elderly man was just stopped at the
Staring.
entrance of the door.
Fully just like gazing into our eyes. And I honestly, I would argue that this man has done this before, but he has not talked to us until this incident, because I feel like this has happened before.
100%, 100%. He has done like a hard stop, but hasn't had the balls yet to actually talk to us. This day, he felt like talking.
He was really curious at first. He was like, isn't it really, really hard having competition with next door?
No, he worded it as, so are you guys like in a lot of competition with each other? It was off-putting because it wasn't like it was a question, but not a question. And then a very leading, weird, awkward, like, and then it took me by surprise. So I walked around the shelf and was kind of like, what?
The weirdest thing about that question to me is that when we moved into this building, it was very serious. We had to have a meeting with Erin next door about the fact that we would not actually be competition for her, because the owner committed to her that he would not have another space come in like her, because she has been here for 1,000 years. So
the great thing is you guys do a lot of like completely different services. Like obviously we have guys in here who do get haircuts, which was a big topic actually this man talked about, where he was like, so you guys do men's clipper cuts?
So how I went about was I walk out and I kind of like, I'm like, well, I'm going to come to him because it was weird now. And he clearly just left Aaron's from his haircut. And and I said, we are not in competition at all. No. And then he goes, so you don't cut men's hair?
Well, he also said, so men aren't welcome here?
Yeah. And then they got uncomfortable and weird. So here's where it got weird. And I said, no, 100% men are welcome. And we do have men as clients, but typically it is the men, the children, the brothers, the boyfriends of existing clients. We are not fishing for Aaron's customers. So then he goes, well, oh, so they do come in here. And then he was kind of being hostile at that point. It was very weird.
I've never seen either like one bad haircut come out that door from Erin or from Gary.
Then he also asked if we were brand new. Like if we weren't here 4 weeks ago.
No, he asked 2 weeks ago. He said he was here 2 weeks ago. And he said, but you guys weren't here. And this was like even before all this conversation. He said, you guys weren't here 2 weeks ago. It looks completely different. Girl, I don't know what's going on with your brain, sir, but you are wrong.
So at this point now he's in the salon. He has come in. He is fully into the salon. He has stepped into our premise and is now engaging more aggressively. And I've now walked up to him, and
I took a step back because I did not know what to do. These situations always make me take a step back.
Don't worry, girl, I got you.
That's why I let Alysia do these things, because I'm the person that I'm the assistant. Like I answer a lot of the basic questions when you come in, but then when it gets to a certain point where I feel personally uncomfortable, I just go mute. Like I can't. I think it's like a flight or freeze sort of thing, and I think I'm a freezer.
That's quite all right. Don't worry, I got you. So I walked right up to him and was just kind of like, no, we welcome all, but we are also not we are not competing with Erin. We are also not poaching. We are also not looking to take anything off of her hands. If anything, if we can accommodate, we give clients to Erin.
But then he also talked about the fact that, wait, you guys are hairstylists. You have different license than people that are barbers. And then they got into this whole conversation where he was trying to discredit you guys giving people clipper cuts.
And then we had to go into an entire schooling on clipper cuts versus whether or not we are barbers, whether or not we're not. And then I had to try to engage with this person on the intricacies of beauty school and clippering.
It was so weird though, because it seemed at one point that like he was trying to like discredit your license as like a hairstylist, or I think you guys went to cosmetology school. That's the correct term for it. And he was trying to completely discredit that and be like, well, you're not licensed to do clipper cuts. And so that was so weird to hear that, because I was like, I would never even view it that way. Like, I see you guys doing clipper cuts all the fucking time.
He really, really wanted to be like, got you. All right.
Let's just get down to it. We need to contact Aaron tomorrow.
Oh, no. So it gets better. It gets even better. It gets even better. So he keeps going. Then all of a sudden it was like a turn and he goes, well, so I can make my next appointment with you guys?
That was our face too. I said, I think my jaw dropped at this point, because I said, out of all the criticism that we literally just received from you, he was gung-ho on having an appointment with us. He wanted in. Like, I think that was his approach to everything by being super hostile. He wanted to come here and get a haircut. So fucking weird.
I said, no, thank you. I think Aaron's taking real good care of you. Your haircut looks great. Have a great Friday. And he was like, well, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe next time I'll give you guys a chance. And then wanders off and then
like
does a little, a slow gander to the parking lot. And then I literally walk away and I go, we have to talk to Aaron immediately.
The great thing about this is that once he finally reaches his car, like the slow old man he is, into like the parking lot across the street, Aaron comes up from the street. I don't even know what she was doing over there, but she comes up from like the street right here. And then we immediately make eye contact with her. She knew. She immediately goes, guys, I'm sorry. That guy's crazy.
She goes, he is something. She goes, he's a talker and he's a problem. And I don't know what to tell you guys. What did he say to you?
And we didn't even tell her a split second of what happened. She just said, I am sorry for his behavior. And I said, you know what? That was probably the best way that conversation could have gone. I felt so relieved afterwards because I was really scared for a second. I was like, that was weird.
That's clearly it's clearly a problem client for her. We don't need to now be like, well, like like there's just no need. You know when you know in our industry, and you just move along and you just say, great. Clearly he didn't even know we existed 2 weeks ago in his brain.
I think people like really do have like, like the horse blinders that they have on when they're in like a race. Like, do people have that like blinder on where they're so not, I mean, like you can also tell this is like the difference between like men and women. And this is like no offense to anybody. It's just like pretty much fact where like we have to be very aware of our surroundings versus like men. They just kind of like, I feel like they tunnel vision into places. And then they're like, oh, you weren't here 2 weeks ago. It's like, bro, we've been here for 5 years.
They also just mosey on through life because they're allowed to. So
I mean,
they just do.
But like, come on. Like, it's not like you guys have changed anything drastic in the window since like Christmas. Like, let's be honest.
The sign is still the same.
Somebody come get your grandpa. Somebody come get your grandpa.
You know what else is terrible? When you are in your home or in a place and all of a sudden the power goes out.
Oh, that one gets me. That one gets me where I'm always like, did I not send that bill in? Did I send that bill in? Well, recently we had a big power outage at the salon and it felt passive aggressive as fuck. We were working and then all of a sudden
there were clients here.
Yes, we were working and then all of a sudden the lights were no more and it felt aggressive.
I get a text message on my way out of here, actually, from like ComEd or something. And I was like, okay, weird, whatever. I didn't read the email. I'm in the car ride. I think I'm like about 30 minutes in. And then all of a sudden, I get a message from you guys saying that it is completely power out here. And I said, oh my God, what's going on? Is it storming? Like, I mean, we're in May, right? Or April right now, and April showers bring May followers. The storms are going crazy at the moment. And so I was just like so confused what happened.
We didn't know either. I was washing hair. Alysia you were pretty much done. You were done blow drying.
I was at the very tail end. The gods had spoken, thankfully, because I was supposed to have another client in. She had to cancel last minute because of a family thing. And I was actually supposed to be doing Candy's trial for the wedding, but we decided to do it the next time. And thank God we did, because I would have been doing an updo in the dark.
Yeah, it just was. I had already been done with my client, like done. I was just ready to go home.
I'm going to tell you the one good thing we found out from this power outage was that our floodlights work.
Wait, so this is the lights that Nora replaced like months ago. It's like it was almost meant to be.
Nod back to our fight with Flossmore.
So you guys remember when Flossmore came here and they failed us at our fire exam and everything like that? That Nora came in, and I don't know if we said it in such detail, but Nora spent about like 3 weeks going through the process of taking the light bulbs out that were there before, and then ordering new light bulbs, putting them back in, not turning off the electricity, by the way. So this girl literally could have zapped herself at any moment.
All I know is that this power outage, it felt dramatic. All the lights went out for the entire town.
The thing that's messed up about it is that, like, number one, I had a trauma from our past at Flossmore Road. That would happen frequently.
Oh, those lights be going out when the wind
The
blows.
wind would
wrong.
blow, the radio would go out. Remember, like, at one point, I think you brought in, like, your boombox. Like, honestly.
Nora, I think he still has that boombox.
I'm sure you got rid of it by now.
Wow, that's rude. I feel disrespected even though I just remembered.
I do legitimately remember you mentioning it, like when we left, and you were like, I left my radio there, but whatever. But it was the kind of radio that you could like put your iPod on. Yeah, it was very dramatic, including, you guys, my client. Okay, we had already had like final agreements before we even got to the bowl. So it was like, it wasn't such a travesty that the power went out. It wasn't like, oh, darn, I can't blow dry you and cut you, because we already knew that I wasn't going to cut her. I wasn't going to gloss her. I wasn't going to do this and that. Like, sometimes she does leave a little damp. But we had a full conversation about like her hair process. She likes to get it glossed because she tends to be a little extra porous. So the gloss does not last forever like some people do. And she likes to look a certain way. She's very particular that she always looks exactly this way. So we had a full conversation that she said, can you just toss a few highlights in my hair? And when we're saying highlights, we're talking about like essentially low lights on black hair. Like her hair is black. So I put the highlights in. I gave them 10 minutes to process. I was not going to gloss them because she insisted she did not want to gloss that time. We got to the bowl. Power goes out. I said, they look okay. And you already didn't want to gloss, so we're good to go. Cut to, she leaves finally. I told her to stick around for a few minutes in case the power went back on so I could blow dry her, because I like to just finish my clients, obviously.
I was wondering because you guys were really lingering.
Sometimes when Alysia leaves, she just pieces out. She Irish goodbyes.
I fucking do. I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm leaving, it's because of my dogs. I love y'all. It's my dogs. My dogs have been alone.
Also,
They
the
gotta
dogs
go
are the most
out.
important. They're just babies, and they also, to be fair, they've been in their crates all along. And like, if you were locked up in a crate for a couple hours, like you're ready to fucking get out of there. I totally respect that, Leash.
It's confusing because other times she's here like 3 hours early and then she stays 3 hours late after her shift. So sometimes when she just abruptly leaves, I'm like, oh, I guess she was done with us.
First of all, I feel attacked. Second of all, there's variables. How long of a walk do they get? How much outside time do they have before that? When is Julie coming?
Did Julie even come back?
Thank you very much, Macy, for sticking up for me.
NGL, I was actually going to ask you if you wanted to get dinner because we were finished early and you were like, okay, I got to go. Bye.
First of all, I would have that night. Surprisingly, Luke FaceTimed me. He was like, why are you home? And I said, the power went out at work. And he goes, weird. Why? And I said, I don't know. And then we had a whole thing. I was actually home very early that night. I could have gone to dinner. So, wow. It's because you guys were lingering and she was telling some really in-depth stories and it got weird and I had to go.
She always does that, and that's why I try to avoid talking to her now.
So cut to this woman that we had this full discussion about the glosses. So I get a text from her. Let's look. So I get this message from her from the 6 total highlight touch-ups I did. I did a highlight touch up. It says the lower 2/3 of my hair needs some low lights or a rinse. And as I once discussed, her hair is black.
The lower 2/3.
I was thinking literally the 6 highlight touch-up strands that I did would have produced 10 strands of orangey copper colored hair. So she asked if I was in this weekend to put the rinse in, and I responded with,
We are like the Parisians. We take the weekends off.
and I said, you mean the gloss that we were not doing on you? Because there was a whole convo about how she didn't want me to do the gloss. And she responded with, I believe I mean the gloss we were hoping wasn't necessary, but you would once assess once we washed it out. If I recall, you looked it over with your iPhone flashlight when the power went out.
The disrespect.
Why is she coming at you like this is your error versus her not knowing exactly what result she wanted in that moment? She should have known herself better and should have just gotten the gloss because she knows that she's fucking picky.
This is what I like to call the generation of I know what I'm talking about when I don't know what I'm talking about.
I would also like to call it gaslighting.
I mean, like, it's also what happens with, like, people who come in here acting like they know what a highlight and a low light is and they don't know the actual difference. I'm like, I usually get this and this and that. And then you guys are like, that is not even correct. And then they try to act like you guys are, like, stupid when you guys literally have license in this. And this has been your profession for, I don't know, 10 plus years.
We had a full conversation then about like I was open. I gave her the days that she could come in and she was just unavailable. So she just doesn't have time. I give her like 4 days, no time to come in suddenly after like absolutely needing to get in. And then she comes in today and I don't know if you heard the conversation.
Oh, I heard the conversation. She's a hard human. She used to be my client. She also is no longer my client because she was swindling me and another hairstylist in the area. And I will stand by that till the day I die. She knows it. We have our back and forth at the salon. We now have like a cute banter relationship, shall we say, as she sees Nora, but she's not gonna like, ever see me again because like she knows that she was fired from me. 2, she's a human who likes opportunity. And I don't want to say that like Nora is somebody that people take advantage of because that's not at all what I'm saying right now. I am saying that she's the kind of human who likes to seize opportunity where she can. Just like where she's seen multiple people in multiple locations, like constantly going with the back and forth. This isn't the first time she's done this. This is like a multiple like situation with multiple people. Like I was one of them back in the day when I was much younger, and I was one of 2, and I was like in that cog of a wheel that she was doing. But she's an opportunist, and this is what she does. And she pits people against each other, and she pits other stylists against each other, and then she's going to use the other person's work against you, and she's going to use your work against them, and then she's going to constantly be doing this back and forth.
As somebody who's providing a service for another person, I think you have every right to be frustrated with her.
I can respect a fucking hustle. I can respect a motherfucking hustle. For sure. 100%. But not at the expense of like other people when you now go home and are like, what did I do? And like, it's this constant like, and I'm not saying you, I'm just going to give my own personals because this is what happens to me as a service provider. Because then I go home and I'm like, did I fuck up? Is this me? Like, am I doing my best in my job? Like, am I giving my best quality A work?
You've also said the exact same thing where like she texted you and then like now you feel like you fucked up or you did something wrong. And this could be like even a completely different client that's not her. But I feel like it's just not fair to make a person like that question your work when you have gone, I feel like, above and beyond to like meet that person's standards in way, way less time than like typical clients.
I feel like where you should be hustling is like free ranch in your ramekin, in your fucking French fries, in your to-go order in your restaurant, not in your I need an extra glaze in my hair because we talked about it. Because like that's how I feel my hair is looking, and we kind of talked about it, but we didn't discuss it. But maybe we did discuss it, but now I need it. But you're not going to charge me for it, right? I can't respect that hustle. I'm sorry. Like, we talk about prices. This is our living. This is our income. You wouldn't do that with your doctor, with your dentist. Like, when you're going to that restaurant and that ranch is an extra 75 cents, you ain't fucking scamming for that extra fucking ranch either.
You're gonna get charged for that ranch regardless of whether you like sneak it under the table at the end of the service or not. Like it's there. Like, and I think that's a big thing where a lot of like people like her and other clients where they think like, oh, you're getting an add-on, like it's just because like you guys suggested it. It's like no, like that's why whenever I go and do something, they're like, oh, this is another great thing that you can do. Awesome. That's a part of the job is selling these things, but also like knowing how beneficial they are. But then at the same time, it's like, how much more is that going to cost me? It's always an upcharge. It's never for free.
As somebody who back in the day would put their extra non-drank margarita in a to-go box and stab that bitch and drink it on the way home, I am fully aware of the fucking hustle that life has for you in store. Like, girl, I get it. But if you can't afford what you are doing, maybe don't come in every 3 weeks. Maybe make sure that your hair is something that has like more longevity to it. Maybe
It's 9 to 11 days.
maybe have those conversations with your service provider, which is Nora, who is the fucking bomb, and let's have these conversations.
9 to 11 days? That is fucking ridiculous. I think it's 100% just her being very self-conscious, and that's fair. We all have insecurities, and I am not trying to like play upon those at all. But I think that her coming in every 9 to 11 days, that is very absurd. 9 days after you got your hair done, that's like when you're finally washing your hair. And maybe that's 2 days after you've washed your hair after your first service. Like that's crazy.
Bottom line, it's like whether any client knows it or not, it's like some of it is manipulative behavior because nobody realizes like how much we take home with us, how much we think about it when we get home, how much like we look and see like, oh, Macy's only taking pictures of Alicia's haircuts. Like, are my haircuts up garbage? Maybe they are because I just had 4 cancellations this week, and now my client is texting me at home on the weekend wondering if I'm going to come in and gloss her hair for us after we just discussed that she didn't want me to gloss her hair when I said, it's kind of time to gloss your hair. And then we circle back to today when I see her again and she tries to talk me out of glossing her hair again. And I have to say,
She tried to talk you out of glossing her hair again.
Oh, I was here for it. I was here for it. She wanted the gloss last time. I think because she thought she wasn't going to be charged for the gloss. Now it's because she doesn't want to be charged for the gloss. So now she doesn't want it. I hear the manipulation happening because now she's like, well, it's a cost thing and it's a this thing and it's a that thing. But last time she wanted it and it was like, what is happening?
but again, it circles back to like, this is what happens like anytime we have a situation at the salon where you're like, your work is questioned or like you overpromise or
I just want to talk about this time that both me and Nora used the same color and it turned out disastrous because it was a tube situation and they tubed the wrong color and Nora used it first. And then I said, I confidently, bold-faced to her face said, I've never had that problem. And then I used it. And then the same thing happened I'm just saying it happens to the best of us, to the rest of us. I will never stop saying till the day I die, I am always a student. I'm always learning. I fucked up today. I bought the wrong mic. This bitch is on a computer right now.
There is something about being so weirdly enmeshed with your coworkers. I mean, like, we all have such interesting relationships, and like, we're all females and we're all like in relationships, and it's all amazing. But like, have you guys ever been in a work setting where you have yourself or known one of your coworkers or friends that are getting a little down and dirty with their own coworker? Now that's the fucking tea. How do you guys feel about this? I mean, this is a really fucking hard situation.
I only have one story because I have worked forever and a day in hair. I'm super old. I've been doing this since birth. I've only ever been in the hair salon.
Have you seen the TikTok time where it's like, when did you know you had drip since
Yeah, that's
birth?
me.
That's
When did
you?
you want to know you've been doing hair? Since birth. So I've worked in a very female oriented space. So shocker.
No way.
Why you a girl's girl? Because I'm only around girls. Wild. But so I only worked in a big salon for 2 times. Once in the city, and I was really young, and then once in the burbs. And there was one guy who liked me who was not of the male on male persuasion. He was not of my type though.
What did he look like? Give us like the rundown a little bit.
Tall, scrawny, gauged ears.
Oh yeah, see that will turn me off every time.
Immediately no. Yeah, ick, immediate. I'm gonna tell you right now, he was one of the sweetest guys of all times, and I did love him. Like puppy dog, follow you around, very cute in like that way where like he was so sweet. We had such a great friend relationship, but he definitely wanted more. He then started dating another girl in the salon. She was older. She was quite a bit older. And they had a very on again, off again, that like very shouldn't be together, but they're together. Like he was our age, but she was older. And he was the kind of like emo, if you're not with me, I'm gonna kill myself kind of guy.
I think we've, at least for me, I'm gonna speak for myself. My high school boyfriend, I broke up with him over text because I couldn't stand being with him another day, like having to actually conversate with him in person. I broke up with him and he was like, oh, something bad's gonna happen to me. And then he went radio silent.
That is like the worst kind of relationships.
Obviously, I fucking panicked because I'm not a fucking psychopath and was like, well, have fun, kill yourself.
You don't want to be like that girl who went on trial. She'll be like, do it. And then the poor kid kills himself. No way.
You're also being a fucking attention whore. Like, fuck off. Like, I literally broke up with you and you're gonna threaten to kill yourself.
That is my only forte into workplace relationships. And I never got into the middle of it. We always kept it really above board because clearly I never felt the same way about him. But he always followed me around like a lost puppy whenever we go to the clubs because it was back in club day. He would come with me. He would be my DD. He would spend the night at my house all the time, my mom's house. Shout out Barb.
Oh, you had him whipped.
100%.
Yeah, that means something if he was your DD. He said, I'll ride along. How come they have to always have gauged ears in the salon to like show they're like, I'm a heterosexual.
Why is it so like weird that like straight men would be hairstylists or part of like this sort of industry?
I don't know. My second workplace runaround boyfriend was also a gauged ear gentleman.
It's fine when they're gauged. It's another thing when they take the gauges out and it's just like, and it's like a fucking tire swing.
I hate it. I literally hate it.
Anyways, back to relationship shit. Past weekend, I went to San Diego. Okay, and this is probably going to be like one of the last stories. And before I went to San Diego, I had a little preface from my friend who lives there that she was getting a little down and dirty with her boss. And so like we didn't really like talk about it that much because I obviously wanted to be filled in on the tea. After like once I got there in person, I can be dramatic. I can have my reactions, it's girls things, okay? And so I get there And she's telling me about her boss that she's hooking up with. But okay, to clarify, it's not like the mega boss. It's like a supervisor, but not like the big boss. He's 25 years old. They kind of been like flirting all throughout like their work sort of shenanigans. So it's like the tension has been building with them, okay? And then she said to her friend, she said, if I see him out at a bar, it's on site. Okay. What do you know? She saw him at a bar. It was on site. It happened. Okay. Meanwhile, she was with another guy at the time. He was Australian. And so her friends were like trying to distract him while she was fucking another guy. She's crazy, bro. She reminds me a lot of you when you were younger. I'm not gonna lie. This is like a mini Alysia, y'all. And so when I like all the time that I knew her was when like she was in a relationship. She was with this guy, like when I met her for the summertime. Towards the end of like last time I visited her in like September, they were still together, but like he kind of was like his true color showed. You know when you realize like a guy's an actual psychopath and you're like, how the fuck did you fool me for 7 straight months? That was kind of the situation. And so yeah, so the thing is though, this girl, she's like super fucking pretty. She's like the California standard of tall, skinny, pretty, blonde. They had the pretty pass. So like the level that like I probably will never ever be able to touch, but she has it. But this guy at her work is making her work for it. So I know. That was my exact reaction.
I'm sorry. I just want to shout out that unless you are, I don't even want to say this name. Like fucking, what are you, Elon Musk?
Ooh, he's not even cute though.
But he's a
like
billionaire.
Okay, but like he also, I can't get with somebody just for money.
I know, but that's why I felt cringy even saying the name. But like, who are you to make somebody fucking work for it? Do you like them or do you not?
Wait, but that's funny that you say that because I was kind of on the other spectrum where I was like, honestly, I was kind of like gung ho for it because I think that he's kind of putting her in her place. She's never had to work for like when she's in a relationship with a guy, it's all about like what she's giving and not like versus what she's giving the guy. And so like fair enough. I think that's so fair. And I respect that. And honestly, if I had that sort of life and I was that pretty and I could do that, respect that 110%.
It's weird because pretty kind of comes with like a weird amount of privilege.
Pretty privilege is a big thing. And I think that she 100% experiences that. And that's what I said to her. I said, the only reason that you get away with being like this is because you are so pretty. And I don't mean it in like a really disrespectful way, but it's just being quite honest. Me acting that way towards a guy, nuh-uh. But anyways, so they've been hooking up. And the other coworker that she's not really friends with, which is another girl, obviously, she's been super into her supervisor, which she is hooking up with. And they keep making jokes at the workplace. Like he keeps flirting with the one girl to play games, which I'm like, this is kind of fucked up. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, it's kind of funny. But yeah, hooking up in the workplace, I've never been about it. But from my friend's experience, it sounds like fun, but it also sounds like a lot of anxiety and not for me.
I don't think I could ever go to a workplace that brings so much anxiety. Does that make sense? I don't think I could handle situations where there's that kind of level of intensity going on in my workplace. Does that make sense? Like I get the like anxiety of like what clients bring to our day-to-day space, but I don't think I could handle the other on top layered level of like I'm sleeping with somebody in my workplace and now that's bringing another level of like anxiety.
No, honestly, it's never been, first of all, for me, I feel like I've never been at that, like maybe now, like say I was working in a different space and there was like more attractive guys where I was working. Like maybe that's something that I would consider.
Sorry, we're not attractive men to you?
I've had this happen a couple times.
Oh my
Wait,
God,
pause what I'm
excuse me.
saying. Fast forward to Nora. Excuse me, slut. Give me it.
No. My very first job outside of my family, where I entered into the real world with all the regular
We gone
people,
country now.
and I got a job at Leona's.
Was this the workout place?
No, Leona's, like it was kind of like a Bellagio. Yeah, they had them on the south side.
You worked at the workout place too.
I also worked at Melanie Fitness Center, which there was also a love connection there. But I was with my high school lover for 4 years. So Christian Cuts couldn't get it in. And Kevin and I were on the fritz. And yeah, there was this guy, he was a server. So this is like total restaurant. So what happens in the restaurant industry, from what I had found out from my 18-year-old self, is that like workplace hookups are very common. Like it's normal. And it became very awkward after the moment where I like thought that me and this guy were going to be like new boyfriend girlfriend. We did rendezvous in my pickup truck.
How would you guys define a situationship in your generation?
I think that the situationship was the fact that like this guy was also hooking up with other females at the restaurant.
In order to wrap it up, I think we need to read something inspiring.
Ooh, let me go get a book.
Get a book.
I think clearly my guy is done. I don't really know what to do with this.
I just want to
That's how mine was last time. It was exactly like that. It would pause and unpause at random points and I would never even touch it.
I just want to say that my workplace relationships, I had a few. I wasn't fucking like all these bitches. I was hanging around. Mine ended with my husband, and that was it. Like I found him, we locked down. 3 months later, we were living together, and look at us now.
It's not your job, responsibility, or business to correct other person's views or opinions of you. Those who truly know you and your heart will always recognize and protect you.
Slay.
I really hope that you guys book that Pilates class, whether the app is difficult or not.
Don't judge us for our apps at this point because clearly I am the problem and maybe you are as well.
And I really just hope that everybody got just as wine drunk as we got tonight because honestly, I have a whole ass glass of wine left. I'm probably going to finish after this and I'm feeling tipsy as fuck.
So, cheers.
Cheers, motherfuckers. Yeah.
Have a great night. If you had a jacket,
Take
a
it the
light
fuck off.
jacket,
It's so nice out.
enjoy your evening.
Roll the
It's a
windows
little windy. Roll the windows out. Listen to your favorite jam on the way home.
Listen
Have
to
a
us.
great week. Exercise your mind, your body, your spirit. Think of us. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. It's Nora, Alysia, and Macy.
We are a girly podcast and we are on the floor.